Hello and welcome to Arsenal Above All. I hope you're all well. This is the first show we've had since we had the tragic news and the passing of Alex Manninger, who sadly left us at age 48. Alex was a legend. He was a hero. He came in and made an amazing contribution to the Arsenal team in the 97-98 season. Coming in for the injured David Seaman, came in and done some incredible stuff at Old Trafford in that game, which we won 1-0 with Overmars scoring that famous goal. Did some crazy heroics in the FA Cup against West Ham. I kind of think it was the quarterfinals, I'm not sure, against West Ham at Upton Park. And was a great guy. I remember watching him make his, what might have been his debut when he played against Leyton Orient at Brisbane Road in a friendly, and I remember I was there that day and saw this guy in blonde driving around the place. And yeah, it's just really sad news that he's departed us just at the age of 48, leaving the family and the kids behind. So all of us on the show passing our condolences to Alex, his families and friends. Really heartbreaking. And obviously, as the saying goes, he often says, once a Gooner, always a Gooner, but that definitely applies to him. So thank you, Alex, and let's get into the show. Hello and welcome to episode 141 of Arsenal Above All. I'm joined by some. Look at that cast. I mean, you're talking about BAFTAs and Oscars or whatever. I don't think you've got enough of these guys here. I've got the Arsenal Oracle. If they made a Matrix version of Arsenal, Brenny would be the Oracle, the one that's baking cookies and has all the answers. Brenny, how you doing, mate?
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know about baking cookies. But I can cook. But baking, that's a whole different thing, man. But no, I'm good. I'm good. After yesterday, and it's a broken record with us at the moment. And I mean, look, for me, life is always good. You know what I mean? Family, friends, my health. Arsenal, they're not going to destroy me. Not going to just destroy my health, but we'll get into it. And thank you for having me on. And big up for Brian. I think it's the first time Brian and I have been on stream together. But even though we've had some good chats, agreements, disagreements, but it's all love in our chats. But love to you, Brian, and of course Akpos, my guy. Good to see you again, man. Good to see you again.
No worries. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, Brenny. And also got the banker basher, Brian Haley. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, Mike. Yeah, thanks for having us on. I know it's general circumstances would have been better to be on, but let's put some perspective to yesterday and obviously for the future games to come and towards the end of the season, I think.
Good stuff. Thank you, Brian. And I've also got Akpos. He's back for his second cap. How you doing, Akpos?
Well, I'm doing good. Good to be back on the channel, and thanks for having me, Michael. Nice to meet you, Brian, and big up the man, Brenny, and shout out to everybody who are in the chat. If you've not subscribed already, this is a channel for proper Arsenal fans. We might come here, agree to disagree, but we are all under one umbrella as Arsenal fans. So hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell button also too. And if you've not liked, please hit the like button and drop us a comment.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Akpos. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody in the chat as well. Really appreciate you joining us this Monday night after 24 hours after a titanic battle at the Etihad. A proper title clash, and obviously we went down. I mean, we are kind of, with the game that's going on at the moment. We are all blowing bubbles a little bit, but the worry is you hope we haven't blown the title with the result yesterday. Obviously, let's get into it. Akpos, with the lineup, was you happy with that? Was you kind of concerned with some of the decisions he had to make? Arteta with Odegaard coming back in. Obviously, I would have liked. We all would have liked, Saka or Timber to come back in. But were you happy with what we put out there to start off the game?
Yeah, well, when I saw the lineup, I think the message was clear. We were going to create chances because of the amount of technical players I saw on there. Because I think Odegaard coming into the midfield was a bit of a relief, because I expected him to come with more control, but I was also concerned with his fitness. I did not know how fit he would be. Just coming back straight and getting into the first 11 for a key game like this. But it was also a good thing to see Eze also starting with Odegaard. I thought that left hand has been problematic, especially this season, because I think, especially in the league, in the Champions League, we have Gabriel Martinelli putting out better performances. But in the league, in the last couple of games, the left-hand side has been problematic. And seeing Eze there, I was a bit, looking forward to what I would see, because I felt like, okay, Eze would also drift infield and try to, increase the bodies we have in midfield. And I was also happy that I went with Kai Havertz, because I was saying it, I think I was on one of our Arsenal communities, the Armory chat. I was saying, if we are going to, because I was concerned with how we will beat their press, and going long with a target man was one of the options for me, because I felt like Kai Havertz would win you more duels compared to a Victor Gyökeres, and that was, I think, the school of thought Mikel went with playing Kai Havertz. We saw that as a team, we were playing better, because at times when Manchester City tried to set the trap, having Kai Havertz there was, an option for us to go long, and he would try to get our other players into the game. So I thought that worked very well. I think the only detriment of that is Kai Havertz had big chances. He was not able to consent. But I think when we make key decisions like that, they are going to be pros, and they are also going to be cons. But in terms of the starting 11, I think I was okay with what I saw, and having also Mosquera on the right back, I felt like defensively we will have more covers, but I also know that would also come with sacrificing what Ben White would give us going forward. So I think the lineup with the players we had available, I did not have any complaint with the lineup, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of think a few went along with you with the, having Havertz up top and the whole thing of him bringing people into play, and obviously we'll get into his performance a little bit later, as we go along. And but I think the lineup, the only probably change I would have made would have been Martinelli on the right hand side, but the way that he played when he came on, I mean, he stank the gaff out, and he was absolutely atrocious. And I just think we have some serious problems in our attack, that everyone has kind of fallen off. The only one that you kind of say who's kind of done something is obviously Gyökeres, but that's not for the want of trying, sort of thing. He's actually had to struggle to get what he's produced, because we haven't kind of platformed him as much as we could. And then obviously people are saying, well, he's not that good a player. What's your thoughts on it, Brian? This is another game. I think all season we've played games with fine margins. It's been very, very rarely where we've blown teams out of sight. Even when we've won games, they've been very close, or we've got late goals right at the end. With that in mind, are we kind of surprised that we've lost another big game, and another fine margin games, because we just haven't been efficient in the boxes, as Arteta likes to say?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head to a certain degree, Mike. I think it's been a tale of most of the season, to be honest with you. I think early part of the season, it's quite funny when we played Leeds at home and we put 5 away, but you kind of have to look at the different types of opposition that we are actually playing against as well. And you would expect us against a newly promoted side to hit 5. But what we should be expecting is to be basically having more consistent games against particular sides like that, and it just hasn't materialised this season. And it's weird because now when we look at seasons prior and in a championship race, last season the season had finished. This stage the season finished, we're out of it, and now we're underperforming as we would probably see as fans in some respects. And with 4 games to go, with 4 or 5 games to go, we're still there. So it's there is going to be frustration, and we all know the frustrations. You know, all of us are bearing the frustrations at this moment in time. I just think currently, when you start looking against the games that we have, we've got to start to produce, and with the personnel that we actually have at this moment, have got to try and produce for us, because we don't have a choice with any. We've got no margin for error now, not at all, and I mean that margin for error is not necessarily just winning games 1-0. We've got to have the margin of error of actually going to win 2, 3, and 4 in some games to look at the goal difference. So, and particularly with the games that we've got left, there are games that really we should be putting 2, 3s, and 4s past some of the sides that we've got left.
Yeah.
So, something's going to have to give. I think that we always said about the handbrake coming off. We have no choice but to have the handbrake off now.
Yeah.
And if we end up getting beat 3 or 4-2 in games and stuff like that, we've given it a go. That's the thing. We've got to give it a go. The pragmatic aspect of it now is completely out the window.
100%. I was going to lead into that. Thanks for that, Brian. And with Brenny, in terms of the style of play now, does the handbrake come off? Can you see that being implemented with, Arteta? Some people have said, we finished the game still with Rice and Zubimendi on the pitch, when maybe one of them should have been sacrificed for an extra body in attack. Maybe you could have pushed the Diamond up there. Does he actually do that now? In the remaining games, especially at home, you could probably say, where we're going to probably have more possession, starting on Saturday with Newcastle. Can you see that happening, Brenny? I mean, we've been there before. You've been there before. We've seen it, in run-ins where we've absolutely, looked like it's done. Obviously, we were talking about 89 and how that happened and the points we dropped at home to teams. But what's your thoughts on it now? Is this a repeat of a movie that we've seen so many times before? Can you see now, maybe because he's got nowhere else to go, and knows what he needs to do, we need to kind of outscore City, that we have to be he has to release the dogs a little bit and let them have a little bit more freedom?
Yeah, he has to. 1-0 and 2-0 wins aren't going to cut it. Yeah, fine. If we get 5 out of 5 wins in the season, great, but there has to be a whole load of goals, because basically the bottom, it's simple. Win your last 5 games, and if you can score 22, 23 goals in them 5 games, I don't think we will. All right, I'll be realistic. I'd say maybe about 18. Let's say 19 goals, 18 to 19 goals. Score that. I think we win this league. But the thing is, though, there's going to be. I don't think it'll be so much from the manager now, because we've got the City game is gone. I think the players as well. For me, there's going to be nervousness with some of those players, and this is where I look at Max Dowman. I wish he'd actually started yesterday, because I think he would have exploited them pockets. If you saw what City's back 4 was leaving us at times, and there were times where we exploited those spaces, and we got into those pockets. But I think Dowman would not have been afraid to have taken on anyone. He could have been on the right, could have been up against Moradi. I don't think he'd have felt a way being up against him, for example. I wanted to see him start yesterday. I also Noni Madueke, he's got to, you know what, we're footballers now. You know, I'll tell you what's missing from footballers, not just Arsenal. We've said this, haven't we, before? Intelligence.
Yeah.
I look at Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka is an intelligent player, and this is why people are basically, you know, if he comes back from injury, he's lost a couple of yards, but for me, he can still offer something.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean. And for me, I don't know when. I think he's back. I think Bobby would say, back in May. So this weekend against Newcastle, we have to go all out. I think at the back we'll be fine. With Newcastle's form, I cannot see them breaching us. And I think what will drive them on is that I don't think it will be another repeat of the Bournemouth game. So I cannot see that happening. But I feel the Newcastle game, it'll have to be the handbrake will have to come off. I'd say he's got to go for it. You know, at least go for it. Look, everyone knows I'm no fan of this manager, but I'm not going to knock him if he goes for it.
Yeah.
If he go for it, and we beat Newcastle 2-0, and it's one of them games where we've hit the post and crossbar 3 times. We've just been pummeling Newcastle, and we only managed to get 2 goals. Because Pope or Ramsdale has had a blinder in goal. I'm all for it. I'm cool with that. I am cool with that. Yeah. But I don't want us to scrape wins, because I don't like that. Because when you scrape a win, you think, well, you can take that into the next game, but does that mean you're going to play the same way as you did before, or what? So yeah, I just hope if the first 10 minutes of the Newcastle game, I just hope there's no nerves. So but I will say yesterday I will say before you move on, just to finish on what angered me yesterday. It was, I mean, look, we're all disappointed with the result, but we weren't complaining about the performance. What we saw yesterday, or glimpses of what we saw, where was that against Bournemouth? Where was that against Southampton? You know, we showed more yesterday, a little bit more yesterday against City than in the cup final, even though it wasn't enough. Yeah. And I know we could do what ifs and everything else, but another thing, what angered me with the manager yesterday was the substitutions. You're taking Eze off, and I hope Eze's confidence hasn't been hit, because with Eze, after hitting the post, he looked like, I was thinking to Bobby, he looks like he's gonna be hungry for more. Do not be surprised if he pulls the rabbit out of his hat, not just with a goal, but I mean with an assist. You know what I mean? He puts his wonderful through ball. And that's what he does. But there's times where when Eze's not playing well, he ends up playing the whole 90 minutes. And then when you can see he's in a foothold in a game, he takes him off, and you're keeping Odegaard on.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the thing. So I mean, and to me, personally, I would have taken Odegaard off. Not because it's Odegaard and whatever, because there was a couple of things he did yesterday, but he's not as fit. Odegaard, you can see he's not as fit as well compared to say Eze. So I would have kept Eze on for the whole 90 minutes, because I still feel he would have made a telling contribution. Who knows? We could have had an equaliser for 2-2, but Gyökeres should have come on a little earlier as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Havertz was better than he had been in recent weeks, and Max Dowman for me should have started the game, or even come on, because not Havertz, with Dowman, there's no fear with him.
Yeah, and
we need to freshen it up as well and I would be happy to see Christian Norgard start against Newcastle. He's not a Finnish player. He's a Danish international, for crying out loud. Yeah. You know, he loves to go to and the away grounds when we got Palace and we've got West Ham away. So in those games, I would love Norgard to feature because he's a warrior. He showed that at Brentford. You know, he knows what it's like to battle treasures. He's played championship football, so he knows what that's like.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's just my feelings on this.
Yeah, I totally agree with you with the Eze substitution. Couldn't understand that. You know, because obviously with his record against City in the last couple of games he's played against them, he's you know, he got the assist at the Emirates. He scored against them in the cup final, and obviously had that great effort. Looked like he was just starting to cook, starting to get into the game, and he gets taken off. And it, for me, it kind of felt like Arteta was just trying to platform his favourites to be the ones to get the goal or the assist or the glory to, you know, in a pivotal game. That's what it felt like to me, because I can't understand why you don't put Eze in the middle, and then you put Trossard out on the left, and you bring Dalman on if you really are going to go for it. You know, I couldn't understand that. You know, this is Odegaard's first game back. You know, and he plays a full 90 minutes. You know, the likelihood is that he's going to be injured now. He's probably not going to play against Newcastle. I just couldn't understand that. And like you said, I hope it hasn't knocked him, because I didn't think he wasn't the, you know, he was a decent performance. I thought he kind of grew into the game. You know, but I just think Arteta's favoritism on certain people, the key one being Kai Havertz, is going to be his downfall. And we'll have to discuss him, Akpos, because obviously we've had all season people gunning at Gyökeres for his footballing ability, let's say. You know, not the fact that he can score goals, but the fact that he doesn't bring, you know, he doesn't win his duels, he doesn't hold the ball up, he can't link play, things like that. And all I heard was, you know, this last 24 hours on socials is people saying, oh, you know, Gyökeres wouldn't have got into those positions to miss them, and things like that. And I'm thinking, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What is happening with the discourse in this fan base, where we're having conversations like that? You know, this guy has constantly missed big chances for us. You know, in multiple seasons that he's been here. I remember the semi-final against Newcastle, where he has an open goal and it comes off his shoulder. Against Man United again, you know, when we lost to them in the cup. Only a couple of weeks ago, you know, in the Carabao Cup final, he misses a good chance, and he misses two kind of real sitters yesterday. What's your thoughts on it, Akpos? Because it's funny as well how when Arteta does his press conferences, I'm sure you've kind of picked up on it as well, is when someone misses a chance, if it's Martinelli or Eze, he'll mention them. He'll actually drop their names. And, you know, he'll say, "Oh, Eze's missed a big chance and he should have scored it." Or when it's Kai, all he says is, "Oh, we missed some big chance." He never attaches his name to anything. He never attaches his name to anything negative. You know, what are we doing here when this guy's babying this guy is getting paid good money? He's experienced, you know, professional. He's won Champions League. That's the thing that sticks in my throat, and a lot of people are picking up on it, and he's getting absolutely battered in socials and what have you, because of, I think that signing, he wasn't the profile that we needed for the money that we spent. He wasn't the profile that we needed, and we've had repercussions ever since that signing's been made, not just for the fee and the type of player, but you've got to look at the salary. He's on 270 grand a week and things like that, you know. But what's your thoughts on his performance and this guy constantly, you know, he's still missing chances, but people using that as an excuse to say, okay, he's all right, you know, it's not what he's about. It drives me crazy. But what's your thoughts, man?
Well, for me, I think Kai Havertz's performance yesterday also reflects why Victor Gyökeres has struggled under this Mikel Arteta system. And prior to the game, one thing that's been consistent so far leading to this Manchester City clash yesterday was we've seen that the manager is not ready to play a system that will suit one of the best strikers in Europe last season that we got for premium money. And I hear a lot of people say, Victor Gyökeres is not giving this team older play. He's not bringing other players into the team. And in my head, I'm like, the question we should be asking is, was he doing these things for Sporting before? Is that his strength? Are these the areas that he flourished while he was playing for Sporting, scoring that amount of goal? He has come to the Premier League where I think it's way more ardent than it is in the Portuguese league. I did not expect him to hit the same number, but for me, I think one of the areas I would rate a manager is when a player is available to you, you need to play more to their strengths than to their weaknesses. And if you put Victor Gyökeres under a microscope, you would see that our system has played to his weaknesses, and that is why it has made him look like he is a very poor footballer. And for me, I look at this guy, in my head, I'm saying, we just got a finisher. Why are we not creating chances for him? Because that is his profile. He's going to put the ball in the back of the net. He's not concerned with what's going to happen with the ball in the middle of the park. What's going to happen with the ball with bringing other players in? We need to play best with this guy's strength. And I was saying to another Arsenal fan earlier today, was it today or yesterday? I was asking him, ask yourself, if you put Victor Gyökeres in this Manchester City team, is he going to score you goals or not?
Yeah,
you understand. So I think we have signed a player that the manager has not been willing so far to play to his strength. So I have said to myself, prior to the City game, I said, if we want to get the result out of this game, Mikel Arteta should go to his guy. Kai Havertz is his guy. If we are playing the way that suits the style of Kai Havertz. So in my head, I'm saying if we play Victor Gyökeres, we will play yet again another game where we will struggle as a team because we will have a striker up front that will not play to his strength and we will not be able to get him into the game. So I was willing to, go on and go with your man. But playing with Kai Havertz we are going to play better as a team. But yet again, it takes us back to his weakness, which is finishing the chances when they eventually come. We saw that he had 2 glorious chances that were on the platter for him that would have been able to change the tide of this game. But yet again, he failed to score. And I think these are one of the areas why I'm very critical of Mikel Arteta. And you rightly said he should have thrown in Victor Gyökeres way earlier into the game. Kai Havertz will give you the all-round goal, the all-round play. But when it matters most, because for me, I think the primary responsibility of a striker, if you are playing as a striker, is to put the ball in the back of the net. Every other thing, I think that is the icing on the cake, in my opinion. Scoring goals is your primary responsibility. And up until we signed Victor Gyökeres, we had no one who was a specialist. I think we saw the clip that was posted on our different social media platforms last week where they were asking each Arsenal player coming into the training facility, what is the skill set of one of your players you would like to take? You could hear someone saying, I would love Martinelli's pace, I would love, but nobody mentioned the finishing of another Arsenal player. Now we have another player that can finish and it does not get the supply. We have another player that can finish. We did not put him in a dangerous position that he can finish. So I think it all falls down to Mikel Arteta. He has decided to stick to a certain profile and style of a certain number 9. So in my opinion, if we want to play better, we should just stick with Kai Havertz, and we should be praying that Kai Havertz finishes his meal when he gets it, because I think if we continue to play with Victor Gyökeres, we will still see those kind of performance that we saw where we struggled as a team. So these are the areas I think a good manager gets the best out of the players available. You are able to play to their strength. So I think Mikel Arteta has made his decision known that this is how he wants the team to play. And Gyökeres does not have those skill sets to play like that. So I think it's the manager. It's down to the manager. And I will not be surprised if tomorrow a new manager comes to Arsenal and we see Victor Gyökeres firing on all cylinders and scoring goals, because this guy, we've not used him to his potential. So it's down to the manager. He needs to pick his poison properly. You either go with Victor Gyökeres and provide him the tools, give him the arsenal to put the ball in the back of the net, or you go with Kai Havertz that would be involved in the older play and get other players into the game. But when he gets the chances, it's not going to be able to put them into the back of the net. Or when he scores, his conversion rate is going to be low, because we saw the chances he got yesterday, and we know if that is Victor Gyökeres, the ball is I think it is down to the manager. Kai Havertz's performances for me, and I still do not understand until this minute why we have signed Kai Havertz and we for that amount of fee, and we put him on one of the best salaries at this football club.
Yeah.
You know what, Mike? The simplest question we could ask is, what is Kai Havertz?
Yeah.
That's the simplest question. That is the simplest question. What is Kai Havertz?
Yeah.
And what answers can we actually give to that question?
Signed as a midfielder, to replacement for Xhaka.
Yeah.
And
then ended up as a striker.
Yeah.
By chance, it was only because because of Jesus and everything.
So that ultimately tells us a story straight away. That tells us a story straight away. Then you've basically, brought a player in at the price, at the wage, but ultimately just bought the player without actually knowing what his best position ultimately will be for the side for us to get the best out of him. That's mad. That's madness.
Yeah,
that's absolute mad. That is madness. And then when we were forced in, and our hands were forced to buy a Victor Gyökeres, and which we actually needed, we're not using them anyway. It's madness. It's pure out and out madness. And and we've got this far. Okay, strangely enough, as I keep saying, we've got this far where we are with, well, let's say a Victor Gyökeres scoring goals for us this season, not by the truckload, but still getting into double figures, 18 for the season, and not having a supply.
Yeah.
Come on,
it's crazy, right?
And people can't imagine what would happen when he has supplies from the wing and the midfield.
Yeah,
and I see people see question his ability.
Yeah.
100%. I totally agree with that. 18 goals. And he's not been sort of platformed. The attack has not been built around him. People then trying to make excuses saying it's the way football's played now, or the way your opposition set up. Or what have you. But yeah, I just think it's like our style of play. It's been very fine margins, very controlling. Everyone makes sure you're on the right side of the ball almost. It's like they're always thinking of, I need to be in this, if we lose the ball. I can't, you very rarely see anybody make a vertical run or make a run to get played through a through ball. When was the last time you seen someone get a through ball? The last time you saw someone get a through ball was yesterday. And Odegaard messed it up. He's played a terrible ball to Havertz. I think he overplayed it slightly, and he had to overstretch and take the shot. So, I just think the attack is not fired all season, and yet look at where we are. We're obviously still top of the league and in the Champions League semi-final. But you just think if the attack was just anywhere near it was a couple of seasons ago, then we would be having a different conversation. But for his own reasons, Arteta has decided to go this way and fall back onto his favourites and relying on his favourites again. And I think he's kind of doing it out of spite. That picture. As Den says there, thanks for your comment, Den. Arteta's bio is there for all to see. If you're in his good books, lots will be forgiven. Absolutely. Just
guys,
go.
Sorry, Mark. Can I just add to what we will just discuss just now in terms of the goals we scored this season.
Yeah.
Now, the amount of goals we scored this season. Have you noticed that when we have played well this season, we've scored like 3s and 4s and the odd 5. And I think that's how we have built those numbers up. I'm talking in Europe and in, as well as the league as well. When we have performed, we've scored 3 or 4 or 5s, and that's when I can't recall a great performance we've had, gents, where we've won 1-0, but we've been outstanding. It's been when we've scored in those numbers.
It's just been I think, like I said at the top, to Brian, we've pretty much played this season. All the games have been fine margins. You know, a couple of games we've taken a lead and then we've let it go because we've gone. We've relaxed back into, okay, we can sort of sit on it a little bit. You know, Sunderland away, you know, absolutely battered in the second half. You know, turned the game around and then we just sat off again and did it at Brentford as well. Wolves just didn't get going away from home against Wolves. You know,
Chelsea 10 men.
Chelsea 10 men. Yeah, just not that urgency to go on. Maybe take one of the defensive midfielders off and just go a little bit the other way, and just try and win the game rather than trying to control it. And I think we pretty much, you know, in all our different guises, the way we communicate on socials and on groups and stuff. I think we've all said it very early on how we seem to, you know, we just seem to be managing games, you know, and trying to eke our way over the line with it rather than go out and actually put the games to bed. And then you're having players in dicey situations, you know, late in games, and then you're not able to take people off with 20 minutes to go. You're not able to take people off with an hour to go because the game's still in the balance, and then that has a knock-on effect. And then you see people with Zubimendi or whatever with all these minutes because you've not been able to take him off early, and then you're not trusting whoever else you've got to come on. So it's all had a knock-on effect right from the very start of the season, just because of that mentality of not being able to put games to bed and score a few more goals and stuff. And I think that obviously all hinges on Arteta, on his mentality. I think
there's an irony, right? There's an irony because you know, in the 2 or 3 seasons prior, where we were there or thereabouts, should we say, and we basically were asking to game manage games and didn't do that. And now we're game managing games, but we don't actually need to game manage so much. You couldn't write it, could you? Really, in some respects, you really couldn't write it. And you know, look, we're in the position we're in, and let's try and keep as much of a positive spin we can. But you know, it's a bit glaring to a certain degree that, you know, us as fans can see what some of these issues generally are from, you know, 2-3 seasons to now.
Yeah, I'll come to you first, Akpos. You know, it's obviously 24 hours after the event. How are you feeling? You know, the emotions aside, you know, do you think it's done for you? Do you think, you know, there's still a chance there? You know, what do you think? And if so, what if you had to change one thing, you know, in the running, what would it be? Would it just be him being a bit more attack-minded, play maybe? You know, take it off. For me, it would be just, you know, especially in the home games, just let Rice do whatever he has to do. The 6, let him do what he has to. Even if you have to put as a left wing, and then you play Havertz as a left 8, and then you've got Odegaard on the other side, and then you can play a Darwin or whatever. Have more technical attacking players in you know, supporting the Gyökeres in that situation. But what would you change, you know, in terms of this running to try and see to make us get over the line if we've still got a chance?
Well, for me, I think it's been 24 hours, about 24 hours since the game now, and I am very, very, very relaxed. Yesterday's result did not surprise me too much, and I would say Mikel Arteta as a manager has not really surprised me this season, because I've been one of the people that felt like we needed a change for a while now. And I think some of the things we said last season, 2 seasons ago, we're still seeing them, even, you know, at the very heat of this moment now. So I will not say they really surprised me. It's painful to watch it crumble before our eyes yet again. And, you know, and in my head, I feel like if I have to hold someone accountable, I need to take it to the higher ups who have, you know, given him more time to continue as our manager. But at the end of the day, we are where we are right now. I think we still, mathematically, it's not totally done. But, you know, the quality of football we have seen in the last couple of weeks has not been encouraging, has not been convincing enough for us as Arsenal fans. For me personally, I'm a fan of the game. I'm a fan of the game. I started watching quality football from a very young age, and one of the reasons why I follow Arsenal because of the quality of football on display. Then I could see Arsenal teams playing. You would love to watch an Arsenal team play, and even at our lowest moments where we were getting beaten, we got beaten. We got beaten 8-2 by the Manchester United team that was high flying during that period. We were still playing good football. I've had friends who have, they sit with me and watch Arsenal games because they want to watch good football. And for me, I have also needed to sacrifice that a bit this season. So I've said, okay, if the manager has a way he wants to win, and that would come at the price of sacrificing the quality of football, then let's, so be it. And let's see how it pounds out. And I think at this moment where we are now, it needs to, go a 360 from that approach, because like we have seen it, the way it looks right now, the only mathematical way we get it done is beating all the teams in front of us and beating them very well. And we know we are not going to achieve that goal and objective by playing a pragmatic style of approach, by playing as a team that is not willing to take risks. So we need to beat all these teams in front of us and beat them well. And that brings us back to, while I was a bit, I was a bit okay with the performance that we put out yesterday, because we created chances, unlike what we have seen against City in the League Cup final, against Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League, against Southampton team that we were expected to beat in the lower division in the FA Cup. So I think he needs to do more of that. He needs to start taking risks. He needs to play more attacking players on the pitch, because you see this problem of having two number 6 in our midfield starting lineup, for most of the season is something that was has questioned, even when we had the player that Martin Zubimendi has come to replace now in Thomas Partey. We've been saying that in some games we did not need Partey and Rice then, because I thought defensively that's an overkill. We've sacrificed a little bit of our offensive progress for that accommodation, because I think the midfield has been Mikel Arteta's biggest fail, in my opinion. We bought Declan Rice as a number 6. He moved him to a number 8. As Declan Rice, flourished as an allied number 8, I think he has done a good job. For somebody who has, the education of a number 6, started as a centre back. So I think he has done a job there. So, but I think what we have in front of us now, we need to be willing to play with one of Rice and Zubimendi in most games, if not all the games, because we need more attacking players on the pitch. We need more technically gifted players that will give us more going forward. And I think one of the question marks I also have about Mikel is we have one of the best defense in the world. Why do we need 2 defensive-minded midfielders in all the games, even in games when we expect to dominate possession? If you are doing that against the City, I would, against your Cities, your Liverpool, all the big guys in the UEFA Champions League, I would see more reasons to that. But when you are playing, let's say, Sunderland, when you are playing, with all due respect to this team, I expected to see a large chunk of the ball. So I think he needs to do a 360 and have more technical players on the pitch, because we need deliveries. We need players that will provide supply for Victor Gyökeres. What Victor Gyökeres wants is put him in the right position. And we've seen that his conversion rate is very high when you look at the amount of chances we have created for him. So I think, like you rightly said, Michael, we need more offensive players on the pitch. We need more technical players on the pitch. And we need the manager to be willing also to take risks. And the players also have to do their own quarter, because I think we, the fans, have been the people that have shown that we want it more than the coach, more than the players. These 2 parties have let us down in this situation. The fans have kept on coming season after season, and they've not relented. And a big credit to all the the match-going fans, because they've always been in the stadium chanting at the top of their voice. We also need to get something from this loyalty. It should not continue to be a one-sided transaction. The players also have to do their own part on the pitch. The manager also needs to do his own part. So I think the main characters here now I saw the clip of when Rooney saying the Arsenal fans need to do a lot. In my opinion, I will come and speak for the match-going fans. I'm not a match-going fan, but the match-going fans have been fantastic.
Yeah.
It is time for the players to do a lot.
Yeah.
It is time for the manager to do a lot. The fans have been the constant in this equation. They would be doing their quota. So the players need on the pitch, they need to do their own quota. We need to see people fighting for the badge, people who want to win it, people who are not scared when push comes to shove, people who will not be hiding. I think so. That is what we need to see, because we have teams who have come close at this crucial moment, but we saw big characters that step up, and these guys have an opportunity to write their name in gold. They have an opportunity to go from a player that's playing at Arsenal now and potentially earning legendary status. So we want to see these guys go out there and give it their very best shot.
Fingers crossed, man. I mean, I'll see if I can get. My wife does work at Arsenal, so I'm going to try and clip that up and get her to deliver that to slip it under. I'll take it as a door, man, because they need to hear that passion from you, Akpos. Yeah, that was brilliant. What are you thinking, Bri? Obviously, if we win our 5 and they win their 6, it's level pegging. It's 85 points each, and then it's down to goal difference. What are you thinking? You think
well,
there's a twist or two?
I'm not too sure I can follow Akpos on that. But look, I think he's absolutely right. Look, the 360 approach is actually where we need to, and it now has the opportunity to do that. The season has not gone yet. Not like last season. The season we're still there. So the opportunity of turning this around is staring him blank in the face. That he can, that ultimately a change of mindset from players, from him. Okay, the fans. There's no mindset needs to be changed by fans. The mindset's already there.
Exactly.
The players and the manager have got that mindset of being in a position where they can take it right to the wire. Okay. No, if and the last time that happened to the club was 1889 when we took it to the wire. This is where the incentive that we basically have. So these five games that we have left, okay, is really, the old adage of the 5 cup finals. It's not about 5 cup finals. It's about 5 games that we go and we win handsomely in those 5 games. Okay, to ultimately win the Premier League, because I think there's a twist and a turn still. I don't think this particular City side is the City side of 2, 3, 4 years ago, even when they won the treble themselves. I don't think that's the City side that is that people are facing at this moment. And this Premier League is a lot different as a season, because everybody is picking points from everybody. There's also going to go to the wire this season that not just relegation issues will probably go to the last game or 2. European places will be, and everybody's kind of playing each side in and around that time in those games as well. So everybody's going to be fighting for something. No one's gone to the beach yet. No one has gone to the beach yet.
True.
The seasons ain't finished yet. So this is an opportunity now. This is an opportunity for the players to say, right, okay, we weren't in this position a lot last season. We're thoroughly in it now. 5 straight out wins, excellent performances, not just good performances, excellent performances, clean sheets and goals. That's all. That's what we want.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, right? It's going to be I think we chased them down to the last day a couple of seasons ago, didn't we? I just think we'll go into sort of like what we will do against Newcastle in a minute. But what are you thinking, Bren? Just going on this slide, it's just got shown our fixtures against those teams that we've got to play this season and what we did against them last season. Obviously, we didn't play Burnley at home, but obviously we played them. At theirs and beat them 2-0. But what's your thoughts in terms of what's left? Obviously, as we said, you've you was there 89 and saw that. I was there that night at Highbury in the clock end when we played Wimbledon, and with that 2-2 draw. I always remember that. At the clock end, people were livid. They were throwing their programs on the pitch. They were ripping them up and storming out saying, "Oh, we've done it, we've blown it." And then look what happened. What are you thinking, mate?
Yeah. So you know what? I wish I envy that year because I wanted to go Arsenal that season, 89. But mum, typical mum, it was like, you know, you got to go with. Ask your dad, or you got to go with an adult and all of that. And I'm thinking, I'm 14 years old, man. I can go to games with myself, surely. So yeah. So no, I mean, I remember I watched that with on TV with my brother, who at the time was a Liverpool fan, and he had a Candy shirt. Oh, I said it. So yeah. So that's Damos. But yeah, those games, they're all winnable games.
Yeah.
They're all winnable games, but I think what it is with me, why I think the title has gone, is mainly because of form. Yeah. It's the form that worries me. If Arteta reverts back to tight, and just for these 5 games, let's go. You know, look, as a manager, he should be able to know how to get the boys playing again, how we played 2 seasons ago. Because obviously we did finish strong, but it wasn't enough in 23-24. Just revert back to type. I don't think none of us will care if he wins games 4-1, 5-2, 6-2. We don't care as long as you're scoring enough goals.
Yeah,
you know, to topple City's goal difference. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it'd be nice to have clean sheets, but if you're scoring 4 or 5 goals. You know, and with the players we've got, we're capable of doing that, and you know, and also just to freshen it up a bit. You know, not just Max Down, but Christian Norgard needs to play games. You know, we've got a Champions League semi-final in between Newcastle and the Fulham games, and they're both at home. Because we go away first, don't we, to Atletico?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah. So don't play. For me, me personally, I wouldn't play Declan Rice because he's been run down at the ground. I wouldn't play him against Newcastle on Saturday. And I'll tell you something. I would have no problem if he went with Norgard and Zubimendi in 8. I'll be happy with that. They're international players and more capable of dominating that midfield and getting a result for us.
Yeah,
in my opinion. So for me. Yeah, revert back to type from two seasons ago, please. You know, and also let's move the ball a little quicker.
Yeah,
let's get them on the counter, man, because we've been you know, it's like I said already. Look, they're moving around like grandfathers, and I'm a grandfather, and I can move quicker than them right now. So you know what I mean? Let's come on. And that's the only how. Now, if we were to do that, if we were to win these 2 home games convincingly, and we score 7 goals in those 2 games, then, even if City have won their games, I will then say, you know what, I favour us, because the pendulum will swing back to us, because we then, you know, even though West Ham fighting for their lives. They could also be all right by the time we play them. I hope so. And it looks like they've got another point, so that's great.
Okay.
It's done. So you know what I mean, guys. And then and for me, the pendulum would swing, because then the Bournemouth game I know would worry City fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they got Everton away. And Everton have been a different kettle of fish. They were unlucky against Liverpool yesterday, but they're a different kettle of fish. And I don't think normally. I was worried at first. I was thinking to myself earlier, and I thought these sides will probably lay down to City. But to be honest, I don't think they will. I honestly don't think they will. They're not the City of a few seasons ago. If they were the City of a few seasons ago, I would say, yeah, it's over. It is over for sure. But I still think City will be favourites only because of the fact that we're capable of probably winning 4 and drawing 1, and it probably won't even be enough, and not scoring enough goals. So the manager needs to revert back to type, and also big up to Akpos. Also to echo what he says, just to summarise, not just the manager has to revert back to type, but the players have to want it too. You've got because there's quite a few players there, and the hunger's not there, and it hasn't been in recent weeks.
Yeah,
we're fighting for a title. You know, let's not talk about Champions League right now, but we're fighting for a title, and that hunger has to be there. It cannot be within 4 or 5 players. It's got to be the whole squad that's hungry. It's got to be the whole squad.
Yeah.
Everyone has to have that hunger and passion, and if they have that, we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's like Brian said. A lot of teams, you know, no one's on the beach yet. There's a lot of teams that are still fighting for various things. I mean, if you look at it, even with us as well, Newcastle and Fulham are not having great seasons, but you look at their points, and they're not that far off a Europa place if they fix up and they get a couple of games, get a run or get a Conference League place. So no one's on the beach yet. So it will be interesting to see what happens with City, especially with those 2 games they've got away from home, tough ones. I wouldn't like us to have those 2 games away from home that way. But yeah, Mac's in the chat. How you doing, Mac? Mac say last time I looked, City still have 150 charges. So you can and the PO deal with them. Until we have players who can score 20 goals minimum, we will always get caught. Yeah, true, I guess. Having said that, it was the most attacking team we've had in the calendar year. Havertz has to start over Victor every game now. Interesting. Thanks for the comment, Commander Summers. Who do you have a recommendation of as manager if Arteta leaves? Anyone want to take?
Yeah, I know a few. I've got a few.
There are managers out there. There are other managers out there. That, a lot of people think that there isn't, and everything will start crumbling down if Arteta.
That's Zuhaib in our chat. That is Commander Summers.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
He said he was going to put it in.
Yeah. Like I said, it's hopefully not that difference. They would love that. They would love that, manufacturing all that energy for the last game of the season. And saying Cherky will be the difference between us and City. He's definitely turned it on the last couple of games, hasn't he? For them, pundits have said that we win our last matches. I don't think there's much of a doubt about that. But City winning every game next season, a big ask. Yeah. We've got a job to do. Like I think we've been saying. We need to maybe have a change in mentality. Definitely a change of personnel on the pitch. I think for that Newcastle game, especially the home games that we've got. I think going in with the usual guys again is not it. Max just saying if Arteta leaves, it will be super fabulous. I don't think there's much bosses with venture outside of the ex-players. Look around and see the disaster other teams have had with random. True, very true. But let's go into this, gents. Let's have a look at the. Obviously, this was the lineup for the last game. Obviously, as we know. So let's see what would you gentlemen do against Newcastle? Let's get this sorted out. So let's get that. Let's put us there on that side, and then we put Newcastle on the other side. What would you do? You were saying, Akpos, in terms of taking. Would you take Zubimendi out? Is that how you would go? And then who would you want to put in there as the option to play alongside? How would you do it?
Well, for me, I would take Zubimendi out. I would have Declan Rice in the number 6 position. Then I'll have Eberichi Eze and Martin Odegaard as the other 2 midfielders for him. And I think Noni Madueke has not been impressive in the last couple of games. Home game in front of a fan. I would want to start Max Daumann. I'll bring in Max Daumann on the right hand side. Victor Gyökeres has to come in the number 9 position for me, and Leandro Trossard has to be our left winger. That left wing has been very problematic between Leandro Trossard and Martinelli. It's been one hell of a season between both players, but I think with the players we have available right now, this is how I would want to approach it, with Eze being the more advanced midfielder and having Martin Odegaard, playing pretty much as the number 8, Eze in the number 10.
So you would play as Rice as a lone 6, would you?
Yeah, exactly, as a lone 6.
And then you have we'd have Odegaard and Eze either side of that.
Exactly.
And then you have Daumann instead of Madueke.
Yeah. Daumann on the right in place of Madueke.
What do you guys think of that, Bren and Bri?
I like it. But I wouldn't have Odegaard. Wouldn't be in my 11 though. No way. Just for me. I love you, Akpos, but Odegaard wouldn't be in my 11 though. No way. And I think he'd do better than an 8 than he would. But for me, it's not just. But I look at Odegaard, and he for me, he's still not 100%, and that's the only reason why I wouldn't play Rice this weekend is because of fitness levels.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking of freshening up a bit.
Yeah. So I was thinking that as well, but I think maybe this is like the first. This is, I think, they're going to be maybe the only time they're going to have a whole week off, pretty much. No midweek game. Obviously, it's going to be
true
back to back after that, because obviously the Champions League. But I was maybe thinking, because he's got that week off, Brad, maybe he does go in with him again because he's his safety, he's his security.
Well, you know what? Thinking about that, I mean, that's a good point, because Rice will play on Saturday. If he played, I wouldn't have any objections to that. But then he would play against Atletico, but then he'd have played two tough games, and then he probably wouldn't even. He'd probably be on the bench for the Fulham game. Who knows?
Yeah.
So I suppose it also depends on how we do in our first leg in the Champions League as well. So, yeah.
What you don't want is for us to totally mess it up here, and then all of a sudden he thinks, okay, I'm going to chuck it now, and I'm going to put everything into the Champions League, and then sort of mess around with the league.
Yeah, good point.
Because he's done that before, sort of thing. So I just hope that I like this team. I think that's how I would go as well. Because I think we're at home. We expect the pressure's on, obviously, to be on the front foot. Newcastle have had a pretty shocking season, but they wouldn't love anything more to come in and just put a dagger in and just try and make things a little bit different.
We do need goals. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
we do need
with
goals.
the history that we've got with them as well and everything. I think it would be good. Obviously, they've got dangers with obviously Elanga and Barnes on the counter, but I just think you have to go out on a shield. Nick's in the chat, and he said it in one of the streams. You've got to try and go out on the shield if you're gonna. If you're not gonna get over the line, just go out, trying your hardest and just drop in, whatever you can to try and get over the line.
Yeah, I like it. I actually was actually thinking of that actually formation of the 4-1-4-1 kind of thing, actually against City per se.
Yeah.
I just think what you have to rely on is the fact is the front five is that press.
Yeah.
Ultimately is that press is effectively going to will win us more football matches, because the back four in itself is quite tight. We know what we're going to get from them. They won't, if they feel like they have to go man to man, they'll go man to man. They don't mind the defending aspect of it. But it's the five going forward with that press, which is going to be ultimately very, very key, because over a number of weeks, what we have found is our press it's not really been a press. Sides have played through our lines far, far too easily at times.
Yeah.
Bournemouth was probably the greatest of examples where they played through our lines so easily. So we need to get, you know, if we've got the 5 attackers on the pitch, they've got a very, very big job to do in there, but they're fully capable of actually doing that job. And look, I just think you'll get the goals return from it. I do think we'll get a goal return from it. I really do. But it's how that press is set, and if that's set right, we'll get the returns from it.
Spot on. And something I will add with respect to what Brian has said with the pressing is one thing that Odegaard does brings to the team when he plays is we press better when he's on the pitch. And that's also one of the areas with mid Saka in terms of how they organize that press on the right-hand side and try to set traps for team. And I think if we execute it very well, like Brian has said, if those front 5 players are willing to press very effectively, set traps for, you know, the oppositions to fall in, I think we might put teams to the sword with, you know, a very attacking-minded lineup like that.
Yeah. I also think there's something that we haven't sort of mentioned, and obviously I'll go and say Gabriel, very stupid, very lucky. He's got a, you know, if he bumps into Haaland when they're on holiday, you know, somewhere in the Maldives or something like that, he's got to buy him around because because I'm thinking this. This is what's been going around in my head. He hasn't scored a goal from a set piece in a while, and he hasn't done anything really sort of in attacking sense. Imagine if he is the one that makes the difference in these next 5 games when he could have missed 3 of them if he'd got the red card.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine the head loss from everyone if that was the case. People are saying, "Oh, you should get retrospectively red carded." He's not. But imagine if he suddenly becomes that absolute monster from set pieces again, gets a couple of goals, gets us those wins, and he could have really been sitting out 3 games for violent conduct. It's funny how football works sometimes. It could be a nice little end of the story. But we'll leave it there, gentlemen. It's been absolutely amazing to speak to you. You know, an hour and 10 minutes just flown by. Really good chat. Really a bit of therapy and a bit of you know, good common sense. And got the day off tomorrow, so I can relax and take it easy. You know, you guys have brought the blood pressure down and everything after yesterday. But thank you so much, Brenny. Tell everyone where they can catch you, mate.
Yeah, big up, Michael. Thanks for having me on, man. You said, you got the day off tomorrow. Well, I've got the morning off, so I may even do something tomorrow on my channel, Brenny K74. So anyone's welcome. I'll put it in our chats as well. I think I'll have the silver one with me tomorrow. So if you all are free, I'll see what Aussie Guru is doing, and maybe we can just have a chat. We can dissect the game from Sunday, if anything, and for me on my channel, I've got a big up Alex Manninger as well, you know, because he was I was only like 22, 23 years old watching those displays from January to March. He was just amazing for a number 2. Jeez. So rest in peace to him. But you can find me on X. You can also find me on Instagram threads. You can also find me on Football Takeover as well. And big up to them as well. And like, share, subscribe to them. Like, share, subscribe to me. And more importantly, like, share, subscribe to all these guys here, please. Above all, subscribe to Akpos as well. Brian, you got a channel?
I don't, unfortunately. I'm a lone ranger.
Okay.
I come and support Mike on Arsenal above all, to, you know, all the work he's done growing the channel. So it's always big a pleasure to come.
Well, you have to come on my channel as well, man. You know what I mean? So I was saying it. I say, listen, anyone's welcome on my channel. Anyone's welcome.
Nice one. Thank you. Thanks, Brenny. Brian, Banker Basher, you know, thank you so much again as always. Yeah, thanks for always coming on and stepping in. I don't know what your evening's like next week. Maybe if you're free to to chat about the Atletico first leg. Maybe we can have a quick recap on that. And we will have a show then. Obviously, we'll have the Newcastle one as well to do. So thanks again as always for coming on, and obviously the man Akpos. He's it looked like he's about to go into his Arsenal back cave there with the red at the beginning there. I don't know what's going on there.
No, he's got some photos he's got to develop.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. Where can everyone find you, man?
Thanks for having me once again on the channel, Michael, and good to meet you, Brian. Big up the legend, Brenny, and big shout out to everybody in the chat. It's been a very interesting conversation, and this is part of why we love the game. Like I always tell people, there's going to be banter out there. There's also going to be reasonable conversation. So this is one of the reasons why I love the Arsenal fan base. I think why people hate us, because win, lose, or draw, the Arsenal fan base, we are going to always show up. So, but for me, you can always find me on X at Akpos Talks Ball, and also on the Football Talk Shop. And you can hopefully find me on the channel pretty much as the big man, the big boss, Michael, wants me to jump on the channel. And you can find me on Brenny's channel and on the Orthogooners channel. Yeah, thanks for having me once again.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. No, he just said no. Akpos just said banter, yeah. And then as soon as he said banter, I'm seeing the league table at the bottom, because Tottenham are now 2 points, 2 points behind West Ham. Oh my gosh! Sorry.
Yeah. But, no, thank you, Akpos, so much, man. Really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for everyone who's in the comments. Mac, Geeks, Den, and Nick as well.
My old school friend Guna Chicks there as well. Big up to Guna
Chicks in there as well. Thank you, everyone that's just taking the time to drop a comment. Really appreciate it. And Nick's spot on here. Needs to hold the position. Let the attacking players take up the key positions. There was, I don't know if you guys saw on socials, there was someone posted 9 minutes of our game against Forest this season, and the speed that we were moving the ball around, the vertical passes and everything was just completely different to what. I mean, you mentioned it earlier. We're playing like granddads, so slow. So it's the fitness as well, I'd imagine, obviously, and the fatigue. But the way we were moving the ball was just so much quicker, and even Madueke was beating his people for fun, and he's not that guy anymore. So we just need to get over the line. Nick saying, our defence is solid. The whole team improves. Yeah, Big Ghost has been caught out 3 times this year, playing for fouls rather than doing his job. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that, and thank you, Nick, as well. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll be back probably next Monday after we've digested the Newcastle game. No, that's on Saturday night, so got the Sunday to recover, and then we'll obviously hopefully be back again for the Atletico first leg, which will be quite tasty. I think they're going to come out, fly out the traps to try and get that game done in the first leg as much as they can, because they know what happened when they came to the Emirates, even though it's slightly different circumstances. We know they're going to try and get a good lead before they come to our place. So let's see what happens. But thank you so much. Thanks for everyone who's been in the chat. Thanks for everyone for watching and all the support. Gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of the week. And as always, keep it Arsenal.